Greetings, this is Rusty Thundertrod, and today I am doing something completely different from what I've ever done before. I am doing a map review and a setup for a future series. Obviously, right now I am in the middle of the used machinery channel on Panhandle Caprock. I just uploaded episode 20, so I got 40 more episodes of that to go. But then following that is going to come my playthrough here on the Homestead map. This map is by Jaked Up. I'll link him down below and give him a mention. I mean, not that he needs it. He's a lot bigger in the farming simulator community than I am. But I first heard about this from Farmer Cop about 6 months ago. I was very intrigued. I've been, scouring mod hub trying to, snag it since it came out. But Jaked Up decided he didn't like the quality of that version, and he went back and basically completely rebuilt the map. And it is even better now. So this is probably going to become one of my favorite Farming Simulator 25 maps. Probably going to even compete with Griffin, Indiana from Farming Simulator 19 and 22. Now this is a start from scratch map. Here, I'll show you the map. I don't know this is what he intended, but none of these, have an owner. There's no NPCs, so there's no longer the problem of Walter watching you sleep. By that same token, there's also no contracts on this map. So it's my headcanon is that this here, if you look at the state of Alaska, there's a section that trails down along the side of British Columbia, down where Juneau is. This part of Alaska is comparable to the Great Lakes region in terms of climate. Most of this is climate zone 6, and some of it's even a little bit lower climate zones. So you can do a lot more agriculture in that area than you can say, up around Anchorage, which, is 8s, 9s, and so my personal headcanon for this is that this area here was owned by a logging company that has since gone defunct. And all this land has been seized by the state of Alaska and is being offered up for sale. Now, amongst this land was an old homestead that, pretty much sat abandoned for the last, how many every years as the logging company did its thing. Because you can see we got all these logging roads, and there's really, other than this one central terminal here, there really is not much on this map at all. And see how this is built on stilts? This is something kind of classic of Alaska. They build their houses on stilts for some reason. I'm not sure why, since I don't live in Alaska. Although if I do win the lottery, I might, buy myself a homestead in Alaska. But it's definitely going to be in the warm part of Alaska. But for that matter, this might be just one of the Aleutian Islands, which also has a fairly warm climate. Well, warm compared to the rest of Alaska. Now, in New Farmer mode, you get one piece of land right here, 14.9.19 acres, so that's a pretty good piece of land. Yeah, all this time they still haven't fixed the starter on these trucks. Alright, let's go over here to the homestead. See, I like how the trees are because a lot of the lazy mod makers, the trees end up being in perfect rows and they're all the same type of tree. You can see here he's very much mixed up his trees, but also, you know, the specific mix of trees here is also very Alaskan. A bunch of evergreens. All right. Oh, let me set the settings. All right. Economic difficulty is hard because since I'm playing that this is in Alaska, everything has to be shipped a very long way, so it costs more to buy and you get less when you sell it. I think I'm going to go for 2-day months. Crop destruction's on, periodic plowing required on, weeds, yep. Uh, Disabled disaster. And where is the... I always have a hard time finding it. Ah, automatic engine start off. Seriously, this game plays so much better with automatic engine start off. Now, one thing on this map is there's no fuel source. There's no gas station where you can go and fill up. So if you want fuel, you're going to have to bring it in somehow. But yeah, this is... Well, I'm not a huge fan of John Deere. I have no problems with their older stuff. It's just the new stuff and their construction equipment I don't like. And I imagine making this map, he wants to use base game machines. So that way he doesn't have to have a whole bunch of required mods to support it. But I love it, you know, because while the logging company was doing its thing, you know, this little farm operation here was pretty much abandoned. You can see all of his old equipment's just grown up in the weeds over here. A little shed. And trailer sitting out here. Gives you a sleep point. Yeah, overall, I like this. I'm going to go ahead and jump in the truck here and we can... While I'm doing this here, I'm going to turn off time while we're setting up the game. Thinking this is probably what passes as a major road through here. Yeah, I love the terrain features. Well, it's going to be a little bit difficult to build on. You know, most of this out here I'm not going to build. And you'll notice how terrible condition this truck is in. all the machinery on the farm is basically the same way, or just worse, a lot of it's actually at zero. Which makes sense. It's been sitting abandoned for a really long time. And these rows have been, this is a kind of an old style but practical forestry managed approach. These open swaths here around the logging roads create fire breaks, because forest fires are going to happen out here naturally, and the timber company doesn't want to lose all of its timber to one forest fire. So they put in these fire breaks here where if to slow or stop the fire. The only criticism I have for this map is that if you do a start from scratch or a farm manager where you're supposed to start with no equipment, you will still have the starting equipment. This seems to be a fairly common occurrence in many maps. Matter of fact, in Panhandle Caprock, when I first started playing with that map, it did not do that, but then the mod author patched the map to add that to it. So while I don't like it, it seems that the vast majority of other people do like it. That's just, I don't like a map that starts off with, you know, dozens of pieces of equipment and huge fields, but those consistently get rated the best on Mod Hub. So obviously, once again, I'm out of step with the majority opinion. Now, as far as my custom rules go for this, I'm going to have a few. One, since this is such a remote location, when I buy a piece of equipment or order something, I'm literally ordering it and getting it shipped in. So if I buy a pallet of seeds, I can't use it until the next day. That's one of the reasons why I decided to go with 2-day months. Because that would be simulating 2 weeks of real time, and that's about how long it would take, to order something and get it sent up here from the lower 48 or from Juneau or Anchorage or something like that. Probably Juneau from where I'm imagining this to be. Yeah, but I really like the look of this map. A lot of forestry work to be done here, of course, since I'm thinking this was a logging operations land. And I'm going to use mods here to set up the farm to be exactly the way I wanted to start with. To kind of reinforce the theory. Which I can understand Jacob doesn't want to use a whole bunch of modded assets in here, because then that makes codependencies, and when you go to install the map, you also have to install all these other mods, which kind of in ways ropes him into supporting these other mods instead of just his mod. I have never even attempted to make a Farming Simulator 25 mod, although I've considered it. But generally I found that there's nothing that I can do that somebody else hasn't already done. Very similar to, and probably done it at a better quality than what I can do it. I think one change I would make is if it's possible to have custom NPCs in a mod. I'll put a couple custom NPCs here around the station. That way people can, go in here. That way when you come up here, there's people around. Have your Katie equivalent over here by the animal, some guy standing around here, the repair trigger, and a couple people over here in farmer's market. Also, I might put like a couple of trucks, just visual truck, not actual working trucks, but just stuff, decorative trucks around here, to serve like this is a trucking hub, because basically this is the only way in and out is through here. And yeah, there's enough space around here. You could say that there's a family living here. In fact, one of my goals in this series is I'm going to try to build up a little village around here. So that way I have somebody to work on my farm. Because I'm guessing the family that lives here is pretty busy already on their own, handling all the shipping. This area can be bought, I believe. Yes. Let's see if I can open these doors and go inside now that this area is bought. Nope, nope. Nope. You can't go inside the farm store. Yeah, but having one or two people in here would be nice. I can easily see this being somebody's home to service the... Maybe a big sign, announcing, like Homestead Transport or something. Actually, I might be able to do that. Let's see here, construction. Uh, yeah, I got a mod to add signs. I'm not seeing it. Oh. F customize. Yeah, okay. All right. I was thinking it looks bigger than what it really is. Okay. Anyway, enough farfing around, I guess. So to do this, I am first going to rent a tractor. Okay. I'm gonna keep the pickup. I'm gonna try to honor what the mod maker was trying to do here. But I'm gonna see if I can push it up a notch. This is just a rental. It's not gonna stay. I'm gonna just use it to help me get everything sorted. All right. So now let's start off with a tractor. Now, since he started with a John Deere, I'm going to go ahead and get a John Deere, but I'm going to get a John Deere A with the aftermarket upgrade of the 3-point and no license plate. Especially since I don't want to have Riverbend Springs popping up on everything. All right. Alternatively, this Farmall H would also be a great starting tractor or one of these Fords. Surprisingly, the 9 and 8N series has never showed up here on Mud Hub, because that would be another great starting tractor. All right. So now we're going to get a plow. And for that, we have this thing right here. Perfect little two-bottom plow. A Discaro. We have this little thing. All right. Now, for a seeder, we're going to go ahead and use, here it is. Now a planter. We got this. A roller. Because when you use a broadcast seeder like that, you have to roll it in order to get the seed to actually take. All right. And where is it? Right here. Okay. I think I'm just about there. I need, let's go up here to trailers. There we go. Right, there should be, here we go, a gravity wagon. No extension. Implement tires. Okay. Perfect. There's one more trailer I'm looking for that should be in here. See if it's in here. No, it does not. All right. So where is that? I wonder if I just didn't install it. But anyway, it's a flatbed trailer. It's a John Deere branded flatbed trailer. Let's see if it's in here. Yes, here it is. Yeah, pre-1976. Yeah, straps, no auto loading. That works good. All right. All right. Now the problem with all this. Let me take this over and customize it so it matches everything else. Okay, so minus that, this is all my starting equipment right here. I think you're going to notice something wrong with it. It's in way too good of condition. I'm going to have to fix that. Turn off super strength. F12. Okay. All right. Okay. Condition. 10%. Let's see how this looks in the vehicle tab now. John Deere John Deere hay wagon. Okay. So I need to go the other way around with the F12. So. Okay, perfect. Now it's all nicely beat up. Good, 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 good. Now let's see here. Yep, F12. Let's go 956. Good, good. 90% damage. Yes. I am liking this. It's 3,476. Ah, great, 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 great. Now let's start getting everything positioned. Well, this thing sounds great. I really love the sound of this. It really does sound just like a John Deere or Johnny Popper. All right. I'll park it. Yeah. The old farmer who used to live here parked it like this to protect the engine from the cold. I'm gonna have to make 2 trips in this. Or maybe not. All right. Okay. Come on, stand up, you. This is the reason why I rented this JCB. stick this over here in the weeds with this. And this can go in here. There's a John Deere combine right down the road from me that looks almost exactly like this, just sitting there in the weeds. I think that's a slightly newer model. I think it's a 60 something as opposed to a 45. It has the fixed pipe, and it is set up with a corn header on it. I believe it's a 2-row. Yeah, it's a 2-row corn header. Now, let's see if I can cheese this. Yeah, looks like it's not going to let me set the corn header inside. Okay, that's gone. So, let's grab the grain wagon. Mm. You know what? I'm actually fine with this sitting kind of cockeyed. I was just thrown up in here to get it out of the way. All right. Let's change the shape. Because there we go. Just want to give some diversity in the bushes. Not too many trees. All right. Fair enough. Yeah, that's in too good a condition. It looked rougher and more beat up here in the preview. Others, let's see. Yeah, this can be, I'll count this here as like our little, oh yeah, this definitely has to go down here somewhere. Okay. Hmm. Alright, so this explains why they have some power here for things. Alright, I would say this is pretty much ready. So now let's go sell this. Set money, 100,000. Turn off super strength. Park the truck back the way it was. 12. Let's see here. Stop time. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with how everything is set up now. In addition to what we've seen here, I'm going to, let's see, I've already covered that I have to wait till the next day for anything that I order. And in addition to that, every year in January, I have to pay taxes. And the taxes are $10 per acre of land, $1,000 for the primary residence, and $100 for each useful building, which is something bigger than just the ornamental sheds. So if it's a barn or it's a shed that I can actually get into and use for something, if I can park something in, I have to pay $100 for that. If it's a production, I have to pay $100 for that. So that's where this is going to be. It's going to be probably quite a while before these episodes start showing up on YouTube past this one, because this is a kind of just a mod map preview and a setup. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I do highly recommend this map. Thank you very much for watching.